The Mary River catchment in southeast Queensland covers 9,500 square kilometres. The river itself is over 300 kilometres long and runs from Maleny to Riverheads near Hervey Bay. The Mary catchment provides habitat for a suite of threatened aquatic species, including the white-throated snapping turtle, the Mary River cod, the Mary River turtle, giant barred frog, and the Australian lungfish. Since European settlement in the 1800s, the river system has been subjected to immense pressure from land clearing, gold mining, sand and gravel extraction, and increasing urban and rural water supply. As well as towns along the river drawing water for urban use, water from the Mary catchment is also transported to the Sunshine Coast to service an ever-growing population. The Mary catchment is the fourth highest contributor of sediment to the Great Barrier Reef. Reef Trust is focused on streambank protection in the Mary catchment, as streambank erosion is known to contribute the greatest majority of sediment out of the catchment to the Great Barrier Reef. The Reef Trust Matrix is the method by which we have prioritised our efforts to control sediment entering the Mary River by covering all the combinations of rural industries such as grazing, dairy and cane, prioritising the high energy sections of the river, as well as the varying ages of revegetation from 5 to 30 years. Ammermoor Creek is one of the highest contributing subcatchments for sediment in the Mary catchment due to landslips and streambank erosion. The loss of streambank vegetation is the greatest cause of streambank erosion in the Ammermoor catchment due to the significant impact of weeds. Weeds like cat's claw creeper and Madeira vine smother the canopy of streambank trees, and eventually their weight will bring down mature trees along with streambank sediment held together in their root systems. Cat's claw creeper is a vigorous woody vine native to Central and South America. It was introduced to Australia as a garden plant. It spreads readily from seed carried by water or wind, and regrowth can occur from persistent underground tubers. The plant's name refers to its three-pronged tendril, which forms hooks to aid the vine in climbing up to the tree canopy. Cat's claw creeper smothers and kills mature trees, opening up the canopy for light-loving weeds. Madeira vine is another invasive weed originating from South America, which also blankets and smothers trees, shrubs and understory species. It has a fleshy, waxy green heart-shaped leaf and produces dense blankets of creamy flower spikes. Clusters of aerial tubers are produced along the length of the stem. The vine also produces potato-like underground tubers which persist in the environment, making control difficult. Controlling weeds like cat's claw and Madeira vine requires a long-term commitment, a 10-year strategic plan and funding commitment. Weed control work is prioritised by focusing on landholders who are committed to the long-term goal, as it is pointless beginning control works without an ongoing commitment.
Well, really it probably started with MRCCC probably 5 or 6 years ago, if not longer, where we started doing some off-stream water points and fenced all our creeks off. And we did that on our property next door, and then when we bought this one of the first things we did was actually fenced Ammermoor Creek off with the help of MRCCC. So that really excluded our cattle out of the creek, and when we did that, the next thing was really the weed control, because the cat's claw was quite rampant in the creek. So we thought we needed to do something to at least try and limit the impact. Our farming practices are really around trying to be as soft as we can and trying to maintain grass cover. So the last thing we want to do is lose our topsoil down the creek. You've got to have that biological control. We've also been very fortunate that we've had some physical chemical control with MRCCC and Landcare. They came out and did a lot of cutting on the mature trees to try and control the cat's claw. That coupled together with excluding the cattle out of the creek and trying to maintain that 100% ground cover, it all sort of adds together to try and make the environment as strong as you can.
Control works need to begin at the canopy level to remove the supply of seeds, then moving to the ground cover control. Cat's claw vine is mainly wind dispersed, so prioritising small infestations in or near remnants, irrespective of catchment location, using the Bradley method of bush regeneration, working from the edge and working inwards can also be employed. This physical and chemical control of vines can be slow and tedious work by hand in difficult terrain, therefore expensive when paying for work crews. We have to target their weaknesses, and their method of dispersal is their only weakness we can exploit. So cat's claw vine flowering in the canopy, we can stop that and therefore stop the seed setting. Integrated weed control is the ideal approach by bringing in biological control combined with physical chemical control to be the answer for a lasting result. Both cat's claw and Madeira vine have natural predators in their homelands which keep their populations in check. With careful research and trials, some of these natural predators have been released here in Australia to start controlling the population. Jewel beetles, tingids and leaf-tying moths have been introduced to attack cat's claw creeper, Madeira beetles to attack Madeira vine. These bugs attack the sap flowing parts of the plants, but unfortunately this small selection of natural predators compared to the larger suite in South America.
We have had a release. I was very impressed. They just came along and I think they were placed every 10 metres along in distance from each other. Let's hope they just keep multiplying and keep attacking that dreadful little cat's claw. I know it sort of is very detrimental to the barrier reef, not having good creek ways, and if you've got everything just falling in, the barrier reef's going.
Based on local observations with groundsel, which in the 1980s was rampant everywhere as dense forests in southeast Queensland, today there is virtually no groundsel and each plant now has a stem borer. This is a local example of good biological control success combined with immense physical and chemical control. This demonstrates it is imperative to establish populations now to ensure they thrive in 20 to 30 years' time. Continued investment into other biological control vectors which can attack the plant on other fronts will hopefully lead to a more successful rate of kill in the future. This biological control combined with physical chemical control is the answer to a lasting result. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of time to wait for the biological control research to provide us with the full suite of natural predators required to really knock these vines. If we don't act immediately to reduce the density of vines, then we will lose mature canopy trees, exposing banks and uprooting trees into the creek or river, along with great clods of soil.
Growing up out here and just seeing the changes in the place, and definitely the erosion and the wash away when you get up in some of these gullies back up the back here, it's pretty full on. And get down here, and as a kid we used to swim just down the creek here a bit further, and well, there's only a couple of decent water holes left. They're all being washed in, filled in basically, and it's all everything washing down from up the creek. This red soil country she washes if there's nothing holding it together. The efforts that is put into this cat's claw, as you can see, choking some of these beautiful big trees out that should never ever be choked out. Definitely getting the help by you guys is a top thing.
If we protect our existing riparian rainforests from their destruction at the hands of cat's claw and Madeira vine, then there will be no need to revegetate. The cost of revegetation per kilometre of streambank far exceeds the cost of protecting the existing mature trees from the destruction from these invasive weeds. Being proactive about weeds is cost effective, protecting remnant rainforest instead of recreating that riparian vegetation. It would cost approximately $4 million to treat a 40-kilometre section of Amamore Creek for cat's claw and Madeira vine. This same section of creek would cost about $40 million to revegetate. Clearly that tenfold increase in cost warrants actively controlling the cat's claw and Madeira vine versus trying to repair the revegetation that's been lost. There are many challenges in weed control. We need to understand how the plant works and not to expect to eradicate these weeds, rather to control them, particularly at the canopy level. We have learnt many lessons, and connecting landholders, just actually getting in there and getting started is the most important thing to do. Our goal is to create a community of care along our creeks and rivers. We can work together to develop a long-lasting and strategic approach to beating these insidious weeds. Rather than feeling overwhelmed and doing nothing, we need to just get started.